I'm really appreciate that you're on my channel and we can have this little chat today because I know I've got a lot of fans that really appreciate this. So, yeah, how are you
No,
doing?
thanks for having me. Yeah, I'm all good. Just came back from a extra training session today, so all good now.
Yeah, it must be hectic now preparing for everything. Not used to be playing this time of the year, and it must be hot and
Yeah,
humid.
no, everything. Yeah, COVID made everything quite difficult. It made you adapt to new programs, like new weather, new situations. So it's a challenging thing, but it's also enjoyable.
Yeah, so I know a lot of people don't realize it, but how does this bubble affect you guys? Because you guys every time have to be in a bubble. Has it changed since the last time you guys played? Is it as strict?
Um, yeah, we're not in a bubble anymore, so that's quite nice.
Okay.
And our last home game, where they have allowed 2,000 supporters back into the stadium, that made such a big difference.
Yeah.
Like to play in an empty stadium compared to playing in front of people, it's such a big difference. And we didn't actually know that it will have such a big impact on us until it actually happened. And we're very, very
Yeah.
grateful for actually playing in front of them again.
Absolutely, I can understand that. So
Yeah.
yeah, you're a rising star. You're one of my favorites at the Sharks at the moment. I'm a big
Thank you so
Shark
much.
supporter myself. So yeah, tell me a little bit about Boeta Chamberlain. What are you about, man?
Um, so yeah, I grew up in Cape Town, in Brackenfell. Um, yeah, so I started playing rugby when I was probably 7 years old. So funny story, I always loved playing, like always loved rugby, always loved cricket, and I told my dad, listen, I want to start playing rugby. I was 7 years old, 6 years old. So my dad took me to the field, and there I froze. On the field, I just froze. I just looked at my dad, and I didn't know what to do. So
Yeah,
I just started running up and down, didn't touch the ball once. So my dad took me back home and he said, "You're not playing rugby anymore." And I cried and I said, "No, I want to play, I want to play." So the next day he took me back again and I made a fool out of him. Just just
yeah,
being like stupid, running up and down. So he gave me a hiding to say, "Listen, this is it. You either play it or you don't play it." And the next day I went back, I scored 5 tries, and the love of rugby just started there.
that's amazing, man. So
Yeah.
you're originally from Paul Boys High, is that correctly? You went to school in Paul
Yes.
Boys High.
Yes, I
So
matriculated there.
what happened? Normally, when you end up in Paul Boys High, you end up at the Stormers or the Western Province. How did the change happen for you to end up with the Sharks?
Um, so I didn't play as much rugby my grade 10, 11, 12 years due to injuries. So I was fortunate enough for when we played at St. John's in 2017 that one of the Sharks recruitment people were there. So we played against Office the last day, and I tore my MCL. But luckily he was there to say, "Listen, we want you." And for a youngster that grew up in Cape Town, like you grow up as one of the biggest Western Province supporters that you can think of. So,
Yeah,
so my first question to my dad was, "Can't I stay at Western Province? Because I mean, it's my hometown and stuff."
mm,
So they didn't. I wasn't very happy with the contract and everything, and I wasn't first choice. So my dad just told me, "Listen, go to the Sharks. They're offering you game time, they're offering you much more than Western Province would."
yeah,
So, and I was fortunate. A lot of my high school mates came with me, so I didn't go there by myself. So it
yeah,
made things a lot easier.
yeah. I'm thinking back, you started playing for the Sharks around 2019, 2020, right? If I'm correct?
Yes. So my first senior game was 2019 Currie Cup against
Yeah,
the Lions. Yeah.
yeah. There were the drop goal that you put over in the first half. I remember it quite fondly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how's the situation with you and Kevin Bosch playing for the same position? I know he had an excellent 2019 season before or 2020 season where before COVID started, and yeah, he was in really good form, and then he took a dip, and you just kind of slotted into that position, and you're now basically first choice. So how's the rivalry between you and Kevin and the rest of the guys?
Yeah, there's no bad blood between us.
Yeah,
Like I've the world's respect for him. I'm learning every single day from him because he's been everywhere. He's played everywhere. He's played big games. He made his Springbok debut. So it's nice to have someone with that experience playing the same position. So it makes it easy. You learn every single day. You ask questions, and he's not someone that won't like shut you down. He's always there to give you advice, to help you, and for yeah, like I have the world's respect for him, and it's nice to play with him. He's really one of the nice oaks out
okay,
there.
great. So considering that, would you be open to playing any other position in the back line? Do you have any other
Um,
preferred positions?
yeah, like so I'm a flyer fullback.
Yeah,
So at the end of the day, I just want to represent the Sharks, the brand.
yeah.
It doesn't. I don't care where I play, what position I play, as long as I can be in the matchday 23 and have the privilege to pull over the Sharks jersey.
Yeah. So, like I mentioned before, I see you as one of the rising stars at Flyoff these days. So, considering all of that, who would you consider your biggest competition at this stage at Flyoff in reaching that goal to maybe have Springbok ambitions?
Well, yo, there's a lot of talent out there. Um, a lot of youngsters coming through the ranks now as well. Um, but at the end of the day, I have to go high. Probably Andre Pollard.
Andre Pollard. Yeah, no,
Yeah,
obviously, when you look at all the youngsters coming through, Jordan Hendricks, and you've got Elton Yankees there as well, and you've
yeah,
got Damian Willems at the Stormers. So it's quite a competitive position to be in this time in your career. So
yeah. No, it is.
how long do you think would it take for you to make the step up to the Springbok selection?
Um, yo, putting me on the spot here. Yeah, I would. I mean, whenever they feel time is ready, um, I would love to be in the setup this year,
Yeah,
just to get used to it and get get to know everyone, get to know the surroundings and everything. But I think my biggest goal is probably to be mentioned in a setup for next year's World Cup. That's probably the big goal.
yeah, that would be absolutely amazing. Given throughout this last year that I've been doing the live commentary and stuff and been following rugby from day one till day 365, I've noticed that it's really hard for a youngster to knock that door down currently in that Springbok setup. I mean,
Yeah,
normally you would see an end of year tour where you would see a bunch of youngsters coming in, but it wasn't the case last year when the end of year tour started. Were you
yeah.
disappointed not to be mentioned in that group?
Um, no, actually not.
Yeah.
Because I knew the people that's there, they are the best that's there. And I'm not, like I said, I'm not someone that wants to be rushed into things.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I'll be picked when the time's ready and when they feel the time's ready.
Absolutely. So tell me a little bit more about your fly-off position. How do you see yourself? Do you see yourself as an attacking fly-off or more of a kicking fly-off or a bit of both?
I would say a bit of both. But I like, yeah, I would say attacking is probably a bit ahead of the kicking part. Um, but yeah, I've always enjoyed attacking the line and taking it to the line and just to just to play my natural game. I
Yeah.
mean, to be in the Springbok setup, like there's a lot of kicking, so my kicking needs to be accurate and stuff. So
Yeah.
that's probably a very, very good work on for me.
Yeah. One thing we do know is that you're very, very good at drop goals. So I watched that game in amazement against the Ospreys when you hit the free drop goals. It was like bang bang, drop
Yeah.
roll out, drop out, and bang bang. So
Yeah, no.
do you practice drop goals a lot? Is it part of your daily
Um,
routine to go to the field and do drop goals, or does it come naturally?
yeah, I wouldn't say I actually train it every single day. I'll have like a one session here every now and then. Um, but the Ospreys game was all just in the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw the opportunity and I took
And yeah, that was a great game to watch. I was doing the live
it.
commentary on the game, and I was amazed. It was like, give the
Yeah,
ball to Boeta, he's gonna drop goal. It's gonna work.
yeah.
So
I don't know how, but I was just after the first one, I felt like I told myself like, yo, okay, I'm actually striking quite nicely.
yeah,
So yeah, I'll take my
and
chances and go again.
and and when it works on a day, it works on a day, and if it doesn't work, then it goes horribly wrong. So
Yeah, yeah. That thing could have gone either way. Either way, it could have gone 3 out of 3 like I did, or it could have gone 0 out of 3, and Eva would have turned to me like, why are you kicking the ball away? So
absolutely.
yeah,
So like we mentioned before, you started your career with the Sharks in the Currie Cup, and then Super Rugby started, and it disappeared in a blink of an eye, and suddenly you guys were in the URC. So, are you
yeah,
disappointed that you never had the opportunity to play in Super Rugby? Because I mean, that was obviously the penultimate dream for every youngster growing up. We want to play in the Super Rugby against the All Blacks teams and the Wallabies. So, are you disappointed that you're not playing in the Super Rugby?
um, I would say yes and no. Yes, like you said, like all the All Black stars are playing there, and it's such a great tournament to actually test yourself where you are, how close you are to the green and gold. Um,
Yeah,
and on the other hand, the URC is also it's a different style of rugby.
yeah,
It's a lot more, I would say, physical. Um, and it's teams that you watch as a small child growing up, like people from the Springboks, people from New Zealand, Australia. Everyone goes to Europe and stuff to play there, and it's such
yeah,
a great tournament to be not part of now. I mean, yeah, it's nice. It's nice to go to Europe for a change.
yeah,
Because I went to New Zealand beginning 2020, made my debut against the Hurricanes.
yeah.
That was also an unbelievable experience. But I would say probably URC is I favor URC more.
Okay. That's quite
Yeah,
nice. That's good to know. So with the Currie Cup, then look, growing up, it was a major competition. It was the ultimate in South
yeah,
Africa, and everybody wanted to play in that Currie Cup. And just the last couple of years or so, it's been watered down and that sort of stuff. So, would you have preferred playing the Currie Cup back 20 years, or would you have preferred playing it now?
yeah. It's really sad to see the Currie Cup
Mm,
die down like the way it is. I mean, it's the oldest tournament in the world,
yeah,
so it's sad. But yeah, to play in front of 60, 70,000 people 20 years back, I would I would say I would definitely prefer that.
yeah,
Full stadiums, everyone supporting you, everyone's there week in, week out.
yeah,
And there was no COVID, so of course it would have been much better.
yeah. I
So
mean,
yeah, I would definitely play back.
yeah, I mean, Jake White dropped a bomb this week or last end of last week. He dropped a bomb saying that we should just not allow overseas-based Springboks to play for the Boks anymore. What do you make of that? I'm not sure where I stand with it because we tried it and it didn't work. So, if you had to go overseas and play the best rugby of your career, you would probably still want to be called up to the Springbok side. So, would you favour that? That we should rather stay in South Africa or pursue a career overseas and still get picked?
Definitely pursue your career overseas. I
Yeah,
mean, at the end of the day, your rugby career is say 15 years long, um,
yeah,
and you have to make up for after rugby to look after
yeah.
your family and stuff. So, and unfortunately, we can't compare the rand against the euros and the pounds.
No, that's
So, unfortunately, it's sad to say, but I would definitely pursue my rugby overseas and finish my rugby career there.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with you there. I just wanted to have a player's perspective on it
Yeah,
because it dropped so quickly, and I was
yeah,
like really, it was just a very awkward situation at the time. But anyway, let's move on from there. So we've now known that the Sharks have started off the URC not the way we wanted it to start. So how's the vibe in the Shark camp at the moment? Are the guys ready and willing for the next part of the URC? Is everything fine in the camp?
yeah. No, the environment and yeah, the brotherhood in the camp is it's probably one of the best ones I've been part of. Um, all of us agreed that we didn't start the URC the way we wanted, but we definitely finished 2021 the way we wanted. So that's a huge plus point for us. We can take a lot of pride out of it to finish on a high. Um, so yeah, there's no bad blood between the teammates and between the Oaks. Um,
Yeah,
and it was a new group, so it took us quite a while to get used to everyone and the way each person plays.
yeah,
But I think it clicked against the Bulls at the end,
yeah.
so
No,
it can only get better from now on.
no, I love it when we beat the Bulls. Like I
Yeah,
said,
no,
every
it's actually a special feeling.
yeah, because every time I do the live commentary on the game against the Bulls, I tend to lose. I don't know why, but just the day that I decide not to do the commentary, you guys go and play the best game against the Bulls, and you absolutely smashed it. So I don't know.
Yeah,
Maybe I should just stop doing the live commentary on that specific game.
maybe
But
just stop against the Bulls. Yeah.
yeah, just leave it for that. So, with that, growing up, who was your favorite rugby player?
John de Villiers, definitely.
Right.
Not my position, but definitely
Yeah.
John de Villiers.
And what would the reason for that be?
I just enjoyed the way he played, and yeah, we knew him as the interception king. So
Yeah.
I
Okay.
would watch a game and see how he plays, and run out to the backyard and try and do exactly what he did in the game.
Yeah.
So it
That's
was
always a great
yeah,
feeling when he used to do that between him and Brian
yeah,
Adama.
yeah.
So
There was always a competition between the two.
yeah. So you mentioned before that you played cricket because that was actually the other question that I wanted to ask you. If there's any other sports that you are interested, why did you
Yeah.
pursue a career in cricket rather than rugby then?
Um. Yo, I don't know. Cricket was my first love at school. I started playing cricket when I was 4 years old. So it was always at school. Summertime, it was cricket was my favorite sport. Then winter comes, then rugby is my favorite sport. So I was
Yeah.
always indecisive between the two. Um, but at the end of the day, I just thought, okay, you have to be like a Quentin de Kock or AB de Villiers, or like you have to have a cracker at school to make it like straight away. But at rugby, you have 23 players in a team, so there's a big opportunity for you to make the team than at cricket where there's 11 or 12. So yeah, it was a difficult decision because I had opportunities to go to England after school for cricket. So it was a difficult decision to make between rugby and cricket. Um, but if I look back now, there's not one day that goes past that I'm double or second guessing my decision. So I'm very
Yeah.
happy with my decision I made.
I just wanted to ask you now, looking at how the situation stands now currently, you're probably not regretting it.
No, not at all. Not at all. Well,
Yeah.
it's a
So
bit late now to regret it. I'm already
yeah,
5 years
no,
in, so
that's true. So what do you make of all the rule changes in rugby lately? We've seen a couple of new rules come in. The people absolutely hated most of it. And one specific one is the 50-22 rule. I know every South African fan hated it until Francois Steyn absolutely destroyed the All Blacks in that last
yeah,
test. So, what's your opinion on the rule changes? Is it difficult for the players to adapt to it? Is there a rule change that you find as your favorite, or what?
Um, it was difficult in the beginning to remember everything while you play.
Yeah.
And in training and stuff to now go back to the drawing board and sit down and say, okay, you can't do this anymore, but you can do this. So it was difficult in the beginning, I would say. But my favorite rule by far is the 50-22, because you get reward for a good kick now. Where back a year or 2 years ago, you kick a brilliant kick from your half to their 22, and you don't get as much reward as you could do now. Now you can use it as like a plan B, to actually put the team back in there and get the ball back and transfer more pressure than you would have a year or two ago.
And you obviously absolutely enjoy the goal line dropout rule.
Yeah, no, against us by far, but when you do it, it's tricky.
Yeah, I understand. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna end this podcast with a scenario for you.
Okay.
It's the URC final. There's no
Yes.
time on the clock. It's a goal line dropout by the opposition, and you receive the ball. What do you do? Do you kick it? Do you drop goal it? Do you pass it, or do you run it?
Yeah. Um, Probably if I get the ball where I got it against the Ospreys on their 10 meter, and I was striking it as nicely as I did, I would back myself. I would definitely go for it. Um, but I say that now. But in the situation, I'll probably catch the ball, pass, and put on phases and try and go for the penalty.
Yeah,
Um,
no, that's true.
yeah, rather play the safe option than going high risk and getting no reward out of it. But yeah, I feel I'll definitely back myself.
If you get it, you'll obviously be the hero.
Yeah, but if you don't get it, then you go from 0 to 0 in a
Yeah,
couple of seconds.
that's true. We've seen that
Yeah,
happen on a lot of occasions before.
no, 100%. I agree.
Yeah. But anyway, we'll end it at that, Boeta. Thank you so much for being on my show.